Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Hardwood Nation podcast with your boy CL Anthony and my main man Bryce Ward. Bryce, what is up? What's going on, my man?
No, nothing much. Just glad to be here after having a little hiatus, little weekend off. But yeah, glad to be back. How about you?
Life is good, no complaints. So, as always, we got a little bit of shit to get into. Um, Apparently, Draymond was talking a little bit. People were still asking him about the punch seen
hmm
across the world last season with Jordan Poole, the most beautiful punch I've ever seen in my life. Whether if Poole deserved it or not, it was still the most beautiful punch I've ever seen in my life. Of course, Jordan Poole has since been traded to the Washington Wizards. Draymond has re-signed with the Golden State Warriors. I don't know why this is still coming up, but nevertheless, Draymond was asked about the punch on a conversation with Patrick Beverly on a podcast, and Draymond was pretty much like, "Hey, I don't punch people for no reason," indicating that Jordan Poole might have said some things to cause him to get punched by that beautiful, beautiful, beautiful punch. So, with that said, and forgive me, guys, I'm a little under the weather today. With that said, Jordan Poole's father actually came out and sent out a tweet, which I'm going to read it to you in the event that you guys can't see the screen. Jordan Poole's father, Anthony Poole, said, I'm staying on this. That is some BS. JP, Jordan Poole, was his guy, and he avoided me all last year. Excuse the grammar. He is a soft ass bitch, and I'm standing on this. And he didn't apologize to me and my wife. So he lame, and me and him can meet anytime he wants. So that was the response from Jordan Poole's father. Okay. So
hmm
knowing Draymond fired back with this. That's so cute. It's impossible to avoid you in an arena for a year, champ. I got get my family from that family room every game. Stop using those words. They usually don't go over well amongst men. Probably talking about him being called a bitch. I also sent you a clip earlier this week with Jordan Poole like doing combat training or some shit like that. Look, it's the off season. We don't got a lot to talk about, but this is funny. Like, what are your initial thoughts on a grown ass man's father coming out and speaking up against Draymond Green?
Um, I mean, it kind of makes Jordan Poole look pretty soft, in my opinion. And then what's funny is you did send me that clip. I watched it, and I don't think if I was Poole, I would have sent that clip out. It didn't look great from what I saw. I thought it was funny, but I mean, it's kind of. How old is Jordan Poole?
He's under 23, I think. I don't remember.
Mhm. Yeah, I can tell. So, for your dad, it's just funny. You're like a grown man. You're an athlete. You're a professional athlete, and you had locker room issues, and your dad is coming to your defense. It's almost like he's in elementary school, and he's getting bullied, and then the dad's like showing up at the school trying to fight the bully.
Yeah.
Uh, it's comical. It really is. Um, I mean, it I don't know what to think of it, to be honest. It's kind of like it'd be funny like if John Morant's dad somehow came out and did something similar in his situation. Uh, it's just weak. I mean, it makes Jordan Poole look weak. If you're, I mean, I think so.
Look,
And honestly, in this situation, I kind of like trust Draymond Green's way of describing it because that sounds a little more realistic to maybe how the situation went. So I'm
mhm.
like prone, I'm wanting to believe his side of the story. So it's comical that like this is going on.
Well, Jordan Jordan Poole's friend, one of his besties, also put a post out on Instagram, reacting to Draymond Green. So I'm going to read that as well. So this is Rayland Brown, who's a friend of Jordan Poole, said, and speaking of Draymond Green, said he literally took us under his wing because of the Midwest connection and was over his house during the pandemic all the time. He supposedly called himself our OG and our leader. You can see how proud he was in that video, but what changed? Um, a lot of y'all hoop how many times at practice you swung on your little homie like that. To be honest, we've been handling this more player and mature than at Draymond Green. Again, forgive the grammar there. Um, the only issue that I have with this, and that may change in a few months once the season starts, is that, to my knowledge, we haven't heard from Jordan Poole about this. Like, we haven't really heard him go deep into what happened. And for these other two parties to have their say, and we haven't really heard from Poole on this matter, is it's a bad look. And it's kind of a soft look. Okay, it's kind of a soft look. So hopefully, the issue should be dead. One, let's just say that. But since the issue is alive, I think Jordan Poole has to address it at least one time, and then be like, "Hey, I'm not going to talk about this anymore." I'm a huge fan of Jordan Poole. I wish he was still on Golden State, but I understand why they did what they did. They felt like the incident, the punch, his maturity was an issue. They got rid of him. Um, he was the scapegoat for last season, so they're resetting, and the Golden State Warriors are going to try to move forward. Um, but I think Jordan Poole is going to have a decent career in the NBA, and if he has maturity issues, hopefully he can rectify that in Washington. So that's just
I
how I
just
feel
think
about it.
it's
But
weird that this happened before the beginning of last season, and you had all season to figure it out and to say what you wanted to say while you're in the same locker room as the guy, and now all this stuff's coming out when you got after you gotten traded to Washington. Um, I just don't get it. It should have all been settled while you were there. So that's another thing that I think's odd about the situation there. It's like it looks soft to me coming out now and having people around you try to act tough once you're not in the locker room anymore. You had a whole season to figure it out. It just seems like kind of childish
well, yeah,
again, like I said.
yeah, it's just like when you okay, so and this is no disrespect to Draymond Green. Draymond Green is a good NBA player. He's not great. He's a good NBA player. But he has a mouth on him, right? So when you have a player like that that has a mouth and has this aura of being like a tough guy, people tend to side with that person. Okay? Let's just be real. Draymond Green could be in the wrong. But because he's Draymond Green, people are gonna side with him more because his personality, because his aura, because he's a stand-up guy, right? Um, I have been in altercations with friends. Now, was those altercations caught on camera? No. Did Draymond know that this video was gonna leak out? No, because some things you do have to handle behind closed doors in practice, in the locker room. But they had no idea that this was gonna leak out. I think that was the biggest issue, not necessarily the punch, but the fact that it was so public and somebody leaked it out. Um,
Well, I still
but
think Draymond's in the wrong. I mean, you shouldn't. No matter like the argument, like you're in a professional business setting for you, and you laid hands on someone. You let your temper get the best of you. I'm not agreeing with Draymond. I'm just saying now with like we knew what the situation was. Now with the where it's at now is where I don't like how Jordan Poole or the people around him are handling it. But I don't condone what Draymond did to begin with.
got sometimes you got to put hands on somebody. You just got to put hands on somebody sometimes. I get that. I get that. The older I get it more. Trust me. The older I get it more. But you just got to put hands on somebody sometimes. So,
Yeah,
little
sometimes
youngins
it's just
trying.
best not to do it while you're at work on camera. All these
You got
players
a
are
great,
doing stuff while they're on camera. Just wait.
you got a great point with that. Let me just say that. You got a really good point with that. You know. But like I said, I mean, to be fair, he didn't know that he was
I
going
know.
to be on camera. To be fair, to just look, I just
Maybe
put
you
the
still don't do it at practice though, in front of everybody.
today is a shit show. I just put the banner up. I guess we haven't had the banner up in a couple of weeks. So yeah, today is a shit show. So yeah, Hardwood Nation, join us on Twitter, like and subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Yeah, for real. Doing great. Doing great.
Hey, so in a couple of weeks, August 12th, the Basketball Hall of Fame will induct this newest class. And this one is very near and dear to my heart, of course, because one, Dwayne Tyrone Wade Jr. will be inducted into the Basketball Hall of Fame. We're going to talk about him more next week. Dirk Nowitzki is also going to be entered into the Hall of Fame. Also, Greg Popovich, Tony Parker, and also Pau Gasol. Um, so, really quick, what's some of your thoughts on the career that Greg Popovich has had in San Antonio as the GM slash head coach for damn near 30 years?
I mean, there's very few teams or organizations in the league that have had the success they've had in that time frame that he was in charge. It's hard to win championships in this league and to win multiple. Um, it's just impressive, and to have the year-end like season to season success that Popovich has had is it all speaks for itself. The tone that he has and when he speaks, the way everybody wants to listen and take in what he has to say. I mean, um, he's up there as one of the greatest NBA coaches and figures of all time. I mean, I don't think there's any debate. I don't think there's really anything bad to say about him. So, there's very few people or coaches I think that are as deserving as Popovich of this honor. So, nothing but great things to say about him and those Spurs teams that were just so consistently great for so many years.
Yeah. The cool thing about this is, and of course I have to say this every year because there's a bunch of youngins out there that don't know. The Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame is not the NBA Hall of Fame. The NBA is a part of this group because the NBA doesn't have a Hall of Fame, let's just say that. But the NBA is a part of this group. So it covers NBA, international play, college, and high school. Um, with that said, when new um, folks are enshrined into the Hall of Fame, the presenter has to be already someone in the Hall of Fame. You know, a little quirk there, but it's fine. It's cute.
Mhm.
So, considering the success that the Spurs have had, they've won, I believe, four. And God knows I might be wrong. I haven't hit my medication yet. They've won four championships with Duncan, Ginobili, and Tony Parker. Of course, they won one prior with David Robinson and Tim Duncan before the other guys got there. On the screen, we have the list of the inductees and the presenters. And when I look at Greg Popovich, who's being presented by Hall of Famer David Robinson, Hall of Famer Manu Ginobili, Hall of Famer Tim Duncan, and even though he's a bitch, Hall of Famer Tony Parker. It just makes me it just makes me smile because this dude has coached so many great players. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So many great players. It's like a fraternity, and he's the head of that. And Greg Popovich has been impressive. Of course, as we talked about a couple of weeks ago, he just signed another 5-year deal because
Mhm.
he's gonna try to see this Wimby thing through. You know, then he's gonna ride off into the sunset. But it is unbelievable the legacy that Popovich has left in the NBA and the I know people love using this word, of course, but the culture that the Spurs have had is absolutely amazing. As far as Tony Parker, I will say this, and I will forever say this: Off the court, he's a bitch. Um, I have absolutely no respect for what he did. And if you the kiddies don't know what happened, just Google Tony Parker and Brent Berry. Um, but as far as a point guard for that team in that system, he was as great as there ever was one. Mind you, in that system. Now, could he have gone somewhere else and been as successful? I don't believe so. But in that system with that team, he was fantastic. Didn't make a lot of mistakes, rarely turned over the ball, hit the biggest mid-range jumpers when needed. He was a great floor general for Popovich and for Duncan. Um, so kudos to Tony Parker for going into the Hall of Fame. That's the only nice thing I will ever say about him. Now, Pau Gasol. I love Pau Gasol. I don't talk about Powell a lot because usually I rip players on here, and I don't have anything bad to ever say about Pau Gasol. I love Pau Gasol. What were your thoughts on the career of Pau Gasol? Two-time NBA champion, one of the nicest guys to ever play in the league. One of Kobe Bryant's best friends when Kobe was here. What are your memories of Pau Gasol?
um, well, a few stand out. Just I didn't get to experience much of him when he was younger, but um, I got to watch quite a bit towards the end. Those runs with the Lakers and Kobe, and I got to see him a little bit with Spain as well in some of those
Yes.
international games. But like you said, is especially how I've listened to him off the court since from time to time. Just it seems like a professional that everybody kind of loved on and off the court. Like I don't I don't think anybody. I don't think I've ever seen anybody come out and really say anything negative about Powell. And,
Mm,
just the the talent what he brought to those Laker teams after it seems like they had lost their. I would say it felt to me like they had lost like a dominant big or something for a while, and it emerged like Powell what ended up being the partner that Kobe needed. And I mean, for a while they were pretty hard to stop, like as a duo. Then with the team around them, it was um it was an impressive, nice little run there for Kobe and Powell. To end their careers the way they did, like pretty successfully. And like I said, it's international play. Like Spain was one of the teams that really gave USA a problem for quite a few years.
mhm.
And so, I mean, there's just like I said, like going back to what I said about Pop, there's just he has a reputation around the league for just being a professional and being it seems like being great on and off the court. And he's spoken out since like the Kobe catastrophe. He's spoken out a few times, and every time I hear him speak, it just seems like he has the right things to say, almost like a calming presence. And yeah, I got nothing but great things to say about Powell. I wish I could have watched more of him, but what I did get to see, I was always impressed with. And like I said, I've been continued to be impressed with him off the court with what he says since he's retired. So nothing but love for Powell, and yeah, he's well deserving of this.
Yeah, the funny thing is, people talk about years ago the grit and grind Grizzlies with Marc Gasol, Zebo, um, Mike Conley, those guys. The incarnation of the Grizzlies before that was really the team that put the Grizzlies on the map because the Grizzlies was trash
Hmm.
for a long time. So before Pau Gasol got to LA to play championship basketball, him, Jason Williams, Shane Battier, and being coached by the fucking legendary Hubie Brown for 2 seasons really put Memphis on the map and kind of started their trajectory to being a powerhouse in the Western Conference. Um, so even watching a young Pau Gasol at that time, who rookie of the year at one point, him and Jason Williams was beautiful watching them play off of each other. Um, those are the first memories I have of Powell. Because I used to watch the Grizzlies a lot because my one of my basketball mentors, Hubie Brown, came out of retirement in his 70s to coach this team, and he hadn't coached in 20 years, and people are like, how the fuck was this gonna work? So I used to watch the Grizzlies a lot, and he actually turned them from nobodies into a playoff team, right? And Hubie's still with us. God bless him, he's still with us. But I used to watch the Grizzlies, and Powell is fantastic. He was a fantastic basketball player. And those teams with Spain, wow. Those were some great teams. Him, his brother, Jose Calderon. Those were some great international teams that
Mhm.
Powell was on. And he was the anchor of that. So kudos to Powell. He absolutely deserves it, not only from his NBA career, but also from his international career. And Mark should be up very soon. Because I believe me, both of them will be in there.
Yeah, yeah.
Both of them would actually be in there. Just a great basketball family. And there, I think there was a third brother, but I don't remember what happened to him. He never made it to the NBA. But I do believe there was a third Gasol. I do believe. Um, so with that being said, we're gonna wrap it up this week for the Hardwood Nation podcast. Thank you guys for suffering with us as we suffer through these illnesses.
Mhm.
Please like, subscribe, and share our content. Drop comments below. Let us know how much you love us, how much you hate us, and we are out.